Hey everyone, I'm Rosie and welcome back to my channel, the place on the internet where we make collage art. So a few months ago, I made a video where I made these animal hybrids. So I took different animal parts and stuck them together to create new animals. So I made 4 in that video, and if you haven't seen it, I'll link it in the description. But I want to do a similar thing today and create some more animal hybrids. But I want to take it up a notch just a little bit because, so when I made this video, I put all of them on a single piece of paper all by themselves, and that's okay, but I kind of want to make a set and put them together as like a family photo or like a superhero team. Put them all in the same composition and maybe add a background, something to make it feel a little bit more full, a little more interesting. So that's my plan for today. I've pulled out all the animals that I've cut out already that I haven't used for stuff, and I have all my animal books here. So let's start flipping through some stuff and see what weird animal hybrids we can make. Okay, so I've pulled out a bunch of animals that I had cut out already. I have this box here that's full of animals, well, also some planets, but mostly animals in there. And then I pulled out just a bunch of bigger animals that I had actually filed. So something I wanted to show you guys real quick was I've actually started filing my images. So for example, I have this animals one, which is full of bigger animal pictures. So anything that's, kind of still in a big page, I add to one of these filing folders, and then I file them in like one of those filing cabinets. But then I also have this is the birds one, and there's a bunch of birds in there. So the bigger images I try to keep in these, and I've started using that system, and it's been working really well so far. But now we have so many animals, I'm a little bit worried about where to even start. So I think what is probably the best idea is if we start pulling out features that we like a lot that we might want to include. So like this guy here has a really funny head and like tentacle thing happening. These zebras these are not zebras, these are giraffes. I know my animals. These giraffes have kind of funny heads, so maybe we could pull those out. I think there's a penguin's tail, which that could be fun on something. This tiger, you can't see the tiger's body, so we can pull just the head off. That's just a random octopus. This red panda, you can just kind of see the head, its body's missing. So I feel like this is another good one to steal the head from. So I think that might be a good place to start pulling some of these features we really like, and then we can start putting them on top of other body parts. So that's what I think I'm going to start with. So I'm going to cut out most of the things I just showed, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I've collected a bunch of animals. I cut out some new ones and cut out the ones we just talked about. But I also wanted to quickly show some of my favorite books that I've collected a lot of my animals from. So this is the big book of animals. And what's great about this is there's some missing pages, but it literally is just, every page is just loaded with a bunch of animals. And the cool thing about this book is it's like half pictures and half illustrations. So it has both. If you're looking for like one kind of style or one type of image, it has both pictures and images, both pictures and illustrations, which is kind of a nice style variation. And then the other one, and this just has the most beautiful illustrations in them. And I've used this book a few times. Here's this rhino illustration. This book's also kind of big, so it doesn't quite fit in my screen. But every page has like 2 illustrations on it, and these again are just beautiful. That giant bear. So I've already taken a few animals out of that book. So let's start layering some stuff and see if we can have anything start to come together. Okay, so I know this is a little bit hard to see, but this is sort of what I'm thinking for this first one. So I have this parrot, I guess this bird, and I was thinking of replacing the tail with this whale tail. I feel like it's a good thickness, the connection there is good. And then for a head, I'm thinking of taking this jaguar and taking the head off, because he feels like his head feels determined and like it's going in a direction, like it would be flying. And so again, it's hard to see sort of what this is going to look like all together, but I think what we have to do now is sort of start dissecting and really see if these are going to work together. So, okay, first thing, let's take these body parts off this parrot. I love that. What I love about this one is the colors. It's like three really specific saturated colors. And so they feel really, just all really saturated, but they still somehow go together. I don't know. I think this would be really cool. And it flying in the background of our like family portrait is going to be great. So this one is done. Let's set them off to the side and then see what other one we want to look at. So I have this elephant, and I want to give it a new head. So I have this tiger head, which, okay, this tiger's head is like huge, and so the proportions are crazy, but that's kind of what I love about it. The other huge head that I have is this cat, which I like, but maybe there isn't enough contrast between the colors of the cat, or the size isn't big enough. I don't know, there's something less exciting about that as there is with this tiger. And imagine I'm going to cut the trunk off and stuff, and so it will look less like an elephant. But what I think this needs is either wings or a tail or something a little exciting, you know? And so I don't know exactly what that is. I have this fish tail we could throw on there. Well, okay, that really just doesn't make sense. Really just doesn't make sense. What about, we got this guy's tail. This is a really skinny, really skinny tail. Not horrible, but not exciting. Oh, okay, there's this bird who has big wings. So we can try that under there. So I would separate the wings. So like one would come out this side, and then the other one would come out that side, or something like that. Maybe. Let's try, I have some other tails over here, let's see. I don't know about the face interaction, that's maybe weird. See, what I would really love to do with it is have it, man, if this was going the other way and it wrapped like that, that would be incredible, but it's not going that way. So maybe I should just take a little hunt. I don't have anything out on my table right now of these other animals that has a tail like that. So maybe I should go look for one just briefly, because I really do like that idea of it coming out in front. So let me just poke around for 1 second to see if I can find something. Okay, the two animals that I found when I went back into this book were this, I actually don't know what animal this is, but he has a furry gray tail, and then this squirrel who also has a furry gray tail. And I think that one of these might work. The only problem is it's hard to tell. Oh, actually we can slip them under. Okay, let's see what this one looks like. So it would be like that. Ooh, I like that. Oh, I see, I love how thick it is. Thick and luscious gray tail. This one is a good one. Now let's see. The other one's going to be harder because I want it to wrap around the front. So let's just put it up next to it. So it would be essentially like that, but would wrap around to the front. Ooh, I don't know. Uh-oh. Okay, I think it'd be sort of like that. So I know it's hard to tell sort of what would be happening here, but I actually think that the squirrel tail works a little bit better. It's just a little bit more, it's bigger, I think, and I love the colors in it. The gray, I think, really complements the rest of this this animal. So I think we need to cut out, I'm happy with how this is coming together, so I'm gonna cut this elephant's head off. then we'll cut this guy out and we'll start to assemble everything together. So let us do that. Now this also means that we have this like screaming squirrel face to work with too. So I'm excited to include that to the pile. Okay, this one is done too, and I'm loving both of these. Okay, so we have this flying guy, and we have this elephant dude. So now let's at least make one more. Then I think we maybe should start looking at a background, because that might dictate what else we can actually add. Because this guy's getting big, so it might be better to have something smaller. I'm not sure. Since we cut this jaguar's head off, I'm thinking maybe we could try to use the rest of the body. And this might be a crazy idea and it might not work, but it's hard to see. I have this bear and I was wondering maybe if we could pair them top to bottom. So like the bear is actually gonna look like he's running. I think we're gonna have to do some interesting cuts on this one to get it all to fit. But I think we need to see what this looks like, because this could be cool if it works. So I'm just gonna start cutting and we'll see if it ends up working. Okay, here's an idea. We could replace the bear face entirely with the squirrel screaming face. Let's see what that looks like, because I do think maybe this one, the bear's face definitely doesn't look like he is fighting or like he's sort of going after anything, but the jaguar's legs are definitely running. So maybe adding a different head will help with that. So let's see what this is going to look like. Okay. I think there's, some finessing we can do in the transition of that, but I think that it's pretty good. So I want to look for a background for these so we have 3 now. And I think that will give us a good idea of what other room we have in the scene to create any more, or if this is going to be it, or maybe the background thing won't even work, and I'm not sure. So let me get out some books to look for backgrounds, and then we will start to see if this is coming together or if we have to make some tweaks. Okay, so I found this background. I like that it's black and white. I love that it's like is this a jungle? I don't really know what kind of environment this is, but I love that it's black and white and there's lots of texture, but I feel like it might not be overwhelming for our creatures. In terms of the composition here, if we had one more back here, one that could come like in this whole area would be great. Are we gonna be able to make that happen? I don't know. What do we have for animals over here? We have like a wombat body. I think this is a wombat anyway. That's kind of the biggest thing that's over here. Camel. I guess it would just be something, if we could do something bigger, that would be really awesome. Okay, so I went back into my books to look for some things now that we know sort of specifically what context we needed them to be in. So I found this orangutan who's already holding onto a tree rather. So I was thinking we could have him holding onto these branches here. So he would be something like this, you know, maybe like this. And so, I don't know, does his foot, he's like a touch bigger than I would like him to be. So I guess his foot needs to go behind here, or we move this guy down. Or we chop his legs off because we're doing animal hybrids, so maybe we give him new arms. But I also found, because I wanted to give this guy a new head, so I also found this dinosaur head, which I liked how colorful it was. So I'm thinking we can replace his real head with that head, and so these guys are kind of looking at each other. And so now, in my opinion, this is, you know, a much more dynamic, there's actually a lot going on. But now with this guy in here, these both in here, I'm sort of thinking even more that this tiger, elephant, squirrel feels really dull. And maybe it's just the tiger's face. Like, what if we make this face the red panda instead? Ooh, actually, okay. Just because it's smaller, oh my God, I feel like we can breathe again. There's so much more breathing room now in this composition with the foot. Okay. Whew, I feel we're gonna have to cut more of the head off, but I feel a whole lot better that we just did that. Oh my God. What difference does one head make? It's crazy. Okay, so I'm liking how these are all sort of playing together, but obviously we need to cut this tree out and get him situated in this actual tree, cut his head off. And then the last thing is, do we want to add anything else to this guy? Because everything else either has, yeah, it's sort of a mix of 3 animals, and this one only has 2. So do we want to give him like some butterfly wings? Well, let's figure that out after we get him situated. Okay, so I am liking how this is coming together, although I feel like maybe now this head is a little bit too big. It's sort of monopolizing a lot of the space up here, and it's taking away from this flying guy over here, so maybe we need to replace that head. Okay, yep, that's that seal head is pretty funny. And now I feel like we can add maybe something else to this. Okay, so I remembered that we had this pangolin tail, and I think that that might work back here. Ooh, yeah, I like the size of that. It gives it a little bit extra detail. And then I'm thinking of stealing the ears from this guy to see if we can add, you know, just something on the seal's head. Okay, I like that. Okay. Okay, I think we did it. Oh my goodness. I think that this looks great. Oh my God. Okay, there's a lot going on. There's lots of pieces. There's lots of weird stuff happening. But I also think that it works, you know, as like one singular composition on the page. It's all these like weird animals that are running around. Oh my God, this is crazy. Oh, I love it. Here's the final piece. I stole this frame from back there. It just happened to be the right size, so I took it. But it looks so good all framed up. I'm so glad we put them all in the same background, and they're all like sort of together in this scene. I think that it really adds a lot more interest, and I feel like there is a lot to look at. There are all these little bits and pieces, and you have to figure out like what animal parts they are. I think it turned out really cool, and I'm really happy. with how it turned out. I think it's great. So I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. Maybe I inspired you to cut some heads off animals and put them on other bodies. It's really fun, pretty easy. And so I enjoyed this one. And so until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you next Thursday for another collage video. Bye.